What was the open door policy? The open door policy was an attempt made by the United States to give all countries equal privileges to trade with China. It was first created in 1899 and it had a follow-up in 1900. The open door policy kept China from splitting apart to be able to create a cooperative collective system which helped in protecting Chinese markets. What and who started the open door policy? The open door policy was started by the United States to keep their ability to trade with China. They were afraid that countries that had been there before them were going to force them out of the Chinese market. The open door policy was started by the U.S. Secretary of State John Hay with a diplomatic note. John wanted all countries to be able to have equal trading rights in the Chinese market to protect their spot in the market.
The Sino-Japanese War was fought between the Empire of Japan and Qing Dynasty China from 1894 to 1895. It was a conflict over the control of Korea and Manchuria. Japan easily defeated China's massive military, which showed that Japan had mastered Western technology and China was weaker than anyone had thought. The Treaty of Shimonoseki ended the First Sino-Japanese War of 1894 to 1895 as a clear victory for Japan. In the peace treaty, China recognized Korea's independence and gave Japan territory in Manchuria. In 1898, Russia demanded China lease Manchuria to Russia instead. Leasing meant the territory still belonged to China, but a foreign government would maintain overall control. Soon, Germany, France, and Britain also demanded leaseholds in China. Each leasehold became the center of a country's sphere of influence. The Russians were concerned about Japan's rising power. They did not want Japan to acquire territory in Manchuria because it bordered Russia. The Russian Empire and Japanese Empire disagreed over who should get parts of Manchuria and Korea, leading to the Russia-Japanese War. On February 8, 1904, Japan launched a surprise attack against the Russian-held Port Arthur. Russia faced many defeats as it battled Japan while also fighting a revolution at the home front. On September 5, 1905, President Teddy Roosevelt negotiated peace between the two countries.
The open door policy resulted with China gaining foreign influence. This created hatred towards the foreigners and led to missionaries working in China being killed. The native Chinese people started to have nationalist feelings against the foreigners.
During the late 1900s, China was going through a growing population, resulting in famine, land shortages, heavy taxes, and inflation. The government ignored its duties and the nation's military forces, causing secret societies, landowners, and military officials to take over local affairs. Due to this, there are increases in rebellions, crimes, and increase of foreign powers. Yi He Tuan, meaning righteous and harmonious fist, otherwise known as the Boxers. This is due to their practice of martial arts that highly represents boxing. Their main goal was to force all of the foreigners out of China. Most members were armed with spears and swords. Some had access to firearms. In certain areas, the members had better weapons compared to the imperial army.
Religion was the main cause for the Boxer Rebellion. Within China, there were Western religions, mostly Christianity. Boxer believed that only native Chinese and Asian religions should be allowed within China. This affected the relationship between China and other nations.
In the 1900s, the Boxers decided to destroy the foreign powers / foreign devils and their fellow Chinese citizens who had been converted to Christianity. The reason was that they believed these people were corrupting Chinese society.
The Boxer Rebellion resulted in the damage of the Qing Empire's legitimacy and influenced the Chinese Revolution in 1911. It also increased foreign influence in China. Additionally, all anti-foreign groups, including the Boxers, were forcibly disbanded.